rage marketing. So I haven't done a Wulff droppings video for a little bit, but my Wulff droppings videos are my opinion. They are not necessarily related to heathenry. I'm going to kind of go over little bits and how it ties together in this video. But hence droppings. It's droppings. It's pun. So rage marketing. Well, rage marketing is the use of anger to promote your brand. And we see this with, think of any political talking head. They're pretty much all, if not all, engaged in some sort of rage marketing. Some of them, and I'm not going to name names necessarily, because the interesting thing is, if you're thinking of one right now, then it kind of proves the point. Like if you've ever heard the old cliche, haters make me famous, that is because when we are angry about something, when we hate something, we tend to talk about it more. That gets the name out there. It gets free publicity for people that, you may disagree with. You may want to not give that individual or individuals a platform. But because you are engaging in a discourse, you end up giving that person clout. I see it all the time. And with creators, like YouTube creators, we often have a pressure for rage marketing. Like the video that I made on Trademark Gate, I think I called it, my Heathen News video, which so far has been the only one. And part of that's because of I don't want to engage in the rage marketing. But that video got more clicks faster than a lot of my other videos. I don't know about all of my videos, but I think it was the fastest one. And that's because people were mad about it. So they started clicking on it. They wanted to know. Rage, when something pisses you off, you are more likely to look up content about it. You're more likely to engage in that content. And very often this can be detrimental. Like I just watched, I was trying to see if I could find some videos on similar subjects prior to recording this, but I found one that's kind of in the realm. Joeseph Gordon-Levitt, the kid from Third Rock to the Sun, / Robin in The Dark Knight Rises, which that whole thing was stupid. That wasn't actually a Batman movie. That was a Hollywood movie with a Batman veneer. But I don't know. That's wearing a Batman shirt. It's ironic. Anyway, that's a soapbox for another day. He has a TED Talk. I'll put it in the description. It was about how craving attention makes you less creative, and he kind of goes over a few things. And one of the things he surmises at the end is to not see other creators as competitors, but rather collaborators. Kind of puts a bit of a positive spin on it and just talks about some of the stuff he's learned since he's been acting since he was a child. But anyway, so good video, should recommend you watch it. But that kind of brings me to not engaging in that rage marketing. All you're doing when you're trying to spit out that content constantly, like that's one of the reasons that this channel is not going to be political ever. I made a video about that last year, which I'll also put a link in the description. Don't know how to do those title cards, by the way. I'm sure I could Google it, but I don't know. I'm an old ass man. Part of that is because I don't want to sully this channel with that rage marketing. A lot of political channels have to keep up with, current events and pulling out your hair, trying to get the next best thing, and then you see that with the news cycle all the time. And that's one of the reasons that it seems like the country constantly forgets about the last thing that we had to deal with. And that's because you just have to keep up with the next best thing and the next big story. And one of the things I try to do with this channel is I try to promote conversation. That's one of the reasons I'm constantly focusing on why. Why do you believe what you believe? Can you form a solid argument? Can you form a solid opinion? Are there holes in that opinion? Is it fallacious in any way? And we have to examine our opinions. Like my spiritual logic video, that was me explaining how I have come to certain things and why. And I spend quite a bit of time focusing on how to explain things. If I can't explain something enough, then there's an issue. That means I haven't looked into something deep enough. That means that I don't understand something well enough. And that's really what I want to build my channel on. I'm not going to build my channel, my brand really, because I mean, this day and age, everybody's a brand at this point, thanks to the internet. I don't want to build my brand on anger. It also pigeonholes you. If you engage in rage marketing, if you make content specifically to make the other guy angry in order to get those clicks, in order to get those fast views, you pigeonhole yourself. Creators who engage in rage marketing have to keep playing that game, because if they were to step back and be like, okay, you know, maybe the other side has a point, maybe I was wrong on this, all of a sudden that rage level goes down, and then they lose a big portion of their money, their audience. We see this with a lot of creators. And again, I'm trying not to be too specific on who, because if you're thinking about somebody, that's probably them. And many ancient religions, including Judaism, actually, foster debate and discussion. The Talmud for the Jews is actually a big, point of discussing this, and this. It's constantly being added to. It would take more than a lifetime to read the whole thing. It's actually pretty fascinating. But we see the same thing with the Hindu, and the Hindu are regarded as one of, if not the oldest religion of the world. There's this history of religions discussing what things mean, what things are. We see it with the philosophers of antiquity: Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, old dead guy, Socrates.
Socrates. The only true wisdom consists in knowing that you know nothing. That's us, dude. Oh yeah.
We see this history, pre-Christian, pre-Catholic. We see this history of discussion, and we kind of debate, whether that's a huge Christian influence, or maybe if it was had to do with the religio, the orthopraxy of the Roman state religion becoming Christian. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's kind of in the ballpark there. I did write an article on Pax Deorum, kind of exploring that. That's the idea that the state will collapse if you don't give to the gods, etc., which I think has affected the current political state of things. I'll throw a link to the article below if you feel like reading it. I would rather build an authentic brand on videos that are well researched and that I've thought about, and that I want feedback on. Like, I want my channel to be about discussion and introspection and extrospection, thinking about things outside of yourself. I want to create that dialogue and that conversation. Right now I'm researching for a Scothy video, and it's taken me a little bit, partly because of work, but I don't want to just make, you see all these little videos, and they are informative, but it's the same thing over and over again. It's just mentioning the lore. It's just mentioning what we already know, what you can look up on Wikipedia about the god or goddess. And that's why I do these deep dives where I look at the syncretic cultures, the historical precursors to Norse society, and so pre-Arch heathen times, and the Indo-European, which I'm also gonna do a video on the Proto-Indo-Europeans and how valid that is, because I should explore that. I haven't really done a deep dive yet, and I'm using this as a basis, so I need to look into how deep these are. And one of the things about making a video about something is it holds me to a certain standard, because I know that if I don't make content to a certain level, to a certain quality, then I will get called out, and I will appreciate that being called out. My cigar blow-up video, for example, I did pretty quick, and it was basically what I knew. I didn't really look up a whole lot. And then Midgard Musings commented, and I appreciate it. He commented, and he was talking about the timeline, the calendar date. That was something that I should have looked into. I think I might actually do a larger video on just the holidays and throw that in there. Talk about the calendar and how that affects us. Because by doing a deep dive into these subjects that should be the base for these topics. I am examining the validity and soundness of what I'm saying. And you'll also be able to notice that there's a timeline of understanding. You know, like my older videos obviously aren't as well put together as some of my newer ones. Similar to this one, I'm just filming in a car or something. You know, you can see a growth of me, and also my skills editing and shit. And that's important. We as a people need to learn to grow. I mentioned in my intro to the Northern Path video that, you know, Odin didn't become Odin. You know, he wasn't just born because he was like a fully formed archetypal Synex wizard, you know, inspirer of berserker, as well as artist passion and progenitor of kings, right? He had to become who he is. He had to sacrifice himself on Yggdrasil for 9 days and 9 nights, taking up the runes. He had to traverse the 9 worlds as Vegtam the Wanderer, all these different things. It was a learning process for him to become who he is. I think from that, and I mean, the whole part in general, we learn lessons. I'm not perfect. I will never claim to be, but I will, to the best of my ability, admit when I'm wrong. And, you know, that's why I made that other video, It's Okay to Be Wrong, which I was kind of focusing more so on reconstructionist arguments. But we as a people, as human beings, need to be adaptive and need to be open to learning. And like I said, rage marketing is just not the way to go. It's hard not to give into it because we are kind of hardwired to look for threats, evolution wise. That kind of triggers a little lizard brain.
Yeah.
So, lizard, that was my lizard impression. So it's really hard not to engage with that. And I think it's really important to acknowledge it. It's just another kind of, I've gone over this a little bit in a few of my videos, like my older videos. I was talking about how we need to redirect human nature. So that starts with understanding human nature. You cannot repress human nature, but what you can do is redirect it. Like, you cannot stop the flow of the river, but you can push it another way or create an energy creating dam. It's not a perfect analogy, because you can kind of stop a river. When you repress stuff, it goes into your shadow. We'll do a video on the Jotnar in the shadow next few videos. Like I said, I'm still researching the Skoldia video.
Rage marketing divides us. It keeps us at odds, hating one another when we should be discussing our opinions, seeing if they hold up to scrutiny, and finding the real problems to face. It's nothing but a cash grab, and we should be aware of it.
A good argument, a good idea is the only thing that's going to kill a bad idea. And, you know, and I said this actually in my No True Norseman video. Part of that rage marketing, the cancel culture that kind of comes with it, ostracizes people and will martyr people that you disagree with. Some conspiracy talking heads are like, look, they've shut me down, so obviously they're afraid of what I'm saying. If you don't think they're saying that, you're wrong, because they are. They are using being canceled to promote themselves, and that is part of rage marketing. A lot of right-wing, for example, creators are going to BitChute rather than YouTube because YouTube keeps canceling them and shutting them down. So they still have a platform. Not as smooth of a platform, but they're still, it's that rage marketing. It's on all sides, you know, not just picking on the right, and we cannot engage in that rage marketing. It's hard not to sometimes. I do it. It's a human vice. But just think about it. Think about, are you watching this person because you're angry, or are you watching this person because you generally are interested? Is the information that you're getting going to help you? And, you know, sometimes just watching something for entertainment, there's nothing wrong with that. At the same time, when you watch somebody, you know, they're getting that view time, and they're getting that click, and you just got to think about it. Do you really want to engage with this person? Well, like, the best way to cancel somebody, honestly, is to just not pay attention. Like, don't put their name out there. Nobody's truly deplatformed. We might be for a minute, you know, but there's so many things these days. So, Skull!
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.